Today, we will be talking to an amazing young entrepreneur, Weronika, who successfully launched the startup called BrainAce at the age of 16. How does one manage a company when others your age aren't even thinking about the business? How do you turn your passion into something bigger? We'll find out today. Hello, Weronika. How are you?
Okay, so my name is Veronica. Currently, I go to Batory High School. I'm 16 years old, and for the last 3 years, I have been working on two projects. One is BrainAce.pro, and this is like an app which is supposed to train people's cognitive skills and also prepare them for the SATs. And I also have like one tutoring organization where I teach with my peers, like from students, by students, for students. Yes. And I will be happy to share with you some advice and tell you what I do.
According to the Startup Poland report, there are currently about 5,000 startups in Poland. The market is dominated by B2B startups, which sell their products or services to other companies, accounting for around 64% of all of the startups. Despite many challenges, the Polish startup scene continues to grow. Right. So tell me, Veronika, what it's like being one of those 5,000. How do you feel as a young startup founder in Poland, where the startup market is rapidly growing? What makes your startup stand out from the others?
Okay, so like to be honest, I have like never thought about the fact that I have so many people competing with me. I don't think that's a good approach. Like it's better to just focus on yourself and your startup. You just have to be better than anyone else. Like with tutoring, for example, like you would think that there are already so many companies, and there are many companies that offer tutoring classes for literally everyone. But that did not discourage me from like trying something myself. So I did not even know that there are 5,000 startups in Poland. I actually thought that there were more. I found that out just yesterday when I was reading the questions. And when it comes to like what makes me stand out is probably the fact that when it comes to tutoring, like we are students ourselves. And I think that's the best thing about what I'm doing, that as students, we can relate to other students and we can understand them. And currently like in like business, understanding is really important because a machine is not going to understand you, but people will. And if you have someone who's teaching you who's like literally 2 years older than you are, that is just great because you can tell them anything you want and you know that they will understand you and help you. When it comes to like the SATs prep app and cognitive training skills app, well, that's something that we don't have much competition just yet. So we're like planning to create demand. So yes.
All right. And what interested you about the technology that made you want to focus on it, such as such as young age? Did you have any mentors or role models who inspired you to do that?
Firstly, I wouldn't like say I'm just focused on technology because I actually tried everything. I did some investing. I still invest actually in the normal market and also in the cryptocurrency market.
Oh,
I had like one time period when I was doing like one clothing initiative. So off area, that was something we created. And to this day, I still like wear clothes that were like designed by me. So I wouldn't say that there is only one sector you should focus on. Like every single one has potential. Like you can do anything as long as you stick to what you're doing. So if I had a different project, maybe it was like with clothing, nothing with technology, I would still be committed to it. I just think like currently with the people I am working with, it's better to do something with technology because I have simply contacts in that field.
so when I'm thinking about your current project, the Brain Ace app, um, I've saw the app, I've saw the demo of the app, I've saw some materials you have shared with me. And there is a lot of like different programs you can choose from, etc., etc. We are going to talk about it in the next episode. But I wanted to ask you, like, do you remember the moment when you realized that the problem you want to solve through your startup could impact potentially many people's lives? Because this is the app for everyone.
Yes, that is true. I mean, like once when I was like driving to school while commuting, like in the metro, I saw like one lady and she had like a child, and that child was like 3 years old. And that child was already like watching TikTok with like men dancing and swearing. And I had like this moment of realization that that is for sure not going to have no impact on the next generation, because like it for sure will. Like our parents, they grew up completely differently, and we cannot expect the next generation to be similar in any way. It is going to be very changed. It will be transformed.
Different.
And like even when you think about the attention span, like the also motivation of younger generations, it is really missing. And although right now we don't really have a problem just yet, I wouldn't say we have it. Like there are some changes for sure, but what's going to happen like maybe 20 years, that is going to be pretty sad in my opinion. And that's why I decided to create this type of app, even though it's not a very profitable market just yet, because nobody really believes you can improve their brains. But I think that the cause is pretty valuable, and even though it might not be as profitable as something else like games,
Mhm.
I think that could have like a positive impact.
Yeah, I totally like understand your point. And you just mentioned that there is no problem just yet, but I believe there is a problem already there,
Yeah.
because every time I take my phone to do something, first of all, the first thing I do when I open the TikTok is not to upload the ready-made reel that I wanted to share with anyone as a part of my job. It's actually scrolling for like 10 minutes. And I do not even know why I do it. Because I do not remember even a one reel that I watched
Yeah.
yesterday or this morning. I do not remember what I
Yeah.
watched. So I believe this kind of app will be a very big support and it will have a very big impact on the users and those who are going to try it, use it, play with it, and so on and so on. And now I wanted to ask you a few questions about running a startup itself, but to talk about the team and about the strategy, we need to first of all talk about you as a founder. And if you would think about being a founder, what do you think, like what specific skills like time management, networking, digital skills do you think are essential for young founders?
So I think like the only thing you need if you would like to be the startup founder is to be able to lead people. Because the thing is that there are like many smarter people than me. Like I know quite a few of them because they work with me. And the thing is that most of those ambitious people and very smart people, they cannot really use their potential. Like that's the thing. Usually someone is either very ambitious but is not really so smart. And on the other hand of the spectrum, we have someone who's super ambitious, like, IQ 160, but they cannot really use these skills, like the things they know. And that's pretty much the role of a leader. You're supposed to like find those people and you're supposed to help them grow, but help them grow with you. So you also at the same time benefit from helping them out. So this is pretty much what I'm doing. You need to be a very organized person. You need to be a person who can motivate others and who can help them grow. So like I myself don't know how to program and I'm creating an app. I mean, like I can check some, even like a few mistakes that I were like made to be able to upload such an app, but I know nothing really. And also, I have people who know how to program better than like many adults. And I can just like motivate them, I can give them tasks and like set the path for them. So I think this is the only thing you need to know. The same as like with tutoring. I don't know how to teach Polish, I don't know how to teach French. I actually teach only English and maths, but I can find people who can do it better than I do and I can guide them. And that is the skill you need.
All right. And when we take under consideration your biggest skills and the leadership skill? How did you learn it? Where did you learn it?
I mean, like,
Briefly.
I don't even know how I have learned those skills. I mean, like, probably there is a part like with genetics, like some people are simply born kind of to lead, some not really. And then I think that there is this aspect of development and growing up. So
Okay.
one can have this potential, but still might not use it. So, for example, in my case, like I kind of was taught to be a bit rebellious, like from the day I was like very young. I had like a brother who was 7 years older than I was, so that probably also played a part. And like also playing different competitive games, like I used to play chess. So all of these things, they make one stronger, they make one more competitive. And then once you have this foundation, then it's all about just training and practicing. At the beginning, I wasn't a very good leader, but at some point, I have been leading people for like 4 years right now. You just like learn certain things that work and those that don't. Then you can also get some advice from other people who are more experienced than you are, but mainly experience. So if I were to like sum it up, you need to have, let's say, the potential from birth. Then the way that your parents teach you, like if they allow you to have some freedom, that is pretty important, because if you have no freedom, then you are taught obedience from day one, and that's not a very good leadership quality. You're supposed to not want to agree with people. And that's pretty much what my parents allowed me to do, to not agree.
Right. And what
Yes.
qualities and skills were most important to you when choosing your team members? Because you said that there is a lot of like different characters, sets of different skills. How did you manage to put them like a puzzles, you know? Like this one, another person. Tell me about
Okay. I'm definitely not going to lie about this because I'm still like struggling to make like the perfect team. And I think that's normal. The thing, I mean, like there is no such person as perfect. So like also currently it's very easy to give like an impression of a successful person. Like with all of the tips on the internet how to, like make a good first impression, it's very easy to learn that. And most people have like this very nice, let's say, book cover that they seem very attractive at the beginning, but later on, as you like work with them for maybe like 1 year or 2 years, like that would be nice to work with someone for 2 years. I personally haven't managed that just yet. I mean, like then you like realize and you find out that the person is not really as organized as it seemed. So I cannot like really give much advice apart from one. Like you should hire slowly and fire quickly. So before you even hire,
That's a good tip. I'm gonna
let
write it down for myself.
yeah, like firstly, like don't hire anyone like just after an interview. It's impossible. As I mentioned, like you can just give such an impression, you can be completely different person during an interview. I have had such people who, like seem to be like me, everything, but then when it comes to doing something, they will like disappoint you very quickly. So it's a good idea to not hire anyone at the beginning, just like give them a trial run. So usually when I work with someone, first I have like 2 months for them to prove themselves. And if they convince me that I want to work with them, then I'm going to actually do something about it. Now, when it comes to like disappointing me, then I'm not going to like just stay around that person because, a success of the project is an average of the success of your teammates. If someone is not worth the project, then I'm not going to let that person stay around. Like, it's all about the people who work on the project.
Okay.
But when it comes to the qualities, you need someone you can rely on. Like, a leader is supposed to give tasks. Now, if you have someone who doesn't follow your, let's say, directions, then you're not going to be successful. You need to have someone who you can rely on. You know that they will do what you tell them to do.
Sure. All right. And I had a look onto your team members, and I know that they are from like different schools, different classes, they're in the different age and so on and so on. But then how did your like school environment, your closest friends, your classmates react to your achievements? Like, are you seen as a nerd in your class, or did you feel like your teachers and the friends, they understand your passion for business, or did you encounter some misunderstanding? How is that, going in the school environment?
So for sure, I don't recommend sharing your achievements with the people you know.
All right.
I don't share what I do. Like, I don't think like anyone even knows what I'm actually doing. Like, usually the people I work with, they are just involved with one project. So they only know about one of my projects. Like, I don't really share much with people because that causes envy, and that's not ultimately positive, beneficial for me. It's better to just like fade. I mean, like, I at least don't need this, let's say, attention from other people. I do it for myself, so I don't feel the need to like share it with others. And also, like, if you share it with others, then people will feel inferior, and that is going to cause them to simply avoid you. And ultimately, that's not what you want. You need help from other people. So it's better to make them like you. And that's it. When it comes to like my environment in school, well, certainly they were not supportive. Like most of my teachers, like completely no support. I sometimes, as I mentioned, I like did some day trading, so I was like trading in class, like very big transactions. Not all of the teachers allowed me to like, sell something quickly because it would drop or because it went up. They did not understand that completely. They preferred me to like just, read something. No support, no support, for
All
sure.
right then. And what about your parents? Do you have any like strong support from your parents? And then, if yes, can you give some sort of like a tip for the young people who maybe have not supportive parents, like how we can, help them
I
out?
mean, like, in my case, my parents, I wouldn't say like they gave me the ideas. Like most of the things I have done were like my ideas, but I did have some support from them that once I actually decided to do something and ask them for some help, they would help. But some of the things, like some advice I would give is to like not really rely on your parents, to not be too close with them as well, because the thing is that what helps you grow, what motivates you to do something is when you feel insecure, when like you are scared a bit. And that's the thing, like if you have parents that literally do everything for you, like they have no expectations from you, they like already think you're perfect. When you feel like safe, when you also have like very close friends, then that kind of doesn't like motivate you to do something in addition to that. So one thing I can give you is like being scared is really important because being scared allows you to grow. It motivates you. That's the one thing that keeps you forward all the time. So having a little bit of that stress is important. When it comes to my parents, and certainly they were like supportive, but I think like even if you don't have such parents, you can for sure do everything I have done or even more.
Okay, so you're telling me that we need to put aside teachers, classmates, close friends, not to involve them in the projects you do. On the other hand, we shouldn't rely on the parents. So in that case, what like events, conferences, communities do you think are the best for the young startup founders who are looking for the support and inspiration? Because after all, we need another person, yeah? We need some sort of feeling like the community feeling that we've got someone we can share the ideas with, or we can discuss something with.
Yes, that is true for sure. Like when it comes to like events, then um I actually attended this venture cafe Thursdays, so that's something I
Where
can
is it? Can you tell us
recommend.
where is it? Because and which city perhaps? Because you know, there might be a lot of people watching us from different countries.
So that is Warsaw, but from what I understand, it's like Venture Cafe Warsaw. So probably like if they add this Warsaw part there, that means that it's also in other countries and also in other cities. I'm not sure about that, but you can like for sure check. I'm sure they have like equivalents in other countries. So this is like a good way to like network, to like meet people. So that is for sure one thing, like when it comes to events. Conferences I have never attended and I have never belonged to like any official communities. I think that like you will find people by doing projects with them. You can find them, for example, in school. It's not like obligatory to go to attend those events, but for sure having, let's say, a mentor at some point, like especially if you're like young, like you are bound to make many mistakes. And in order to like avoid them, then finding mentors that is a very good idea to have someone who's more experienced, who will give you some advice. And they're like organizations like Youth Business Poland in Poland. We reached out to them and they actually gave us free mentors from different areas. And I'm sure there are also other foundations like those in other countries, and you can find additional help from them. So to have additional like guidance, like someone who can, tell you something smart once in a while, that is helpful.
All right. And if someone has their own project idea or would like to join someone else's startup or your startup, how and where should they look for the opportunities to grow?
So like if you're looking to join a startup, I have never looked for a project to join, so I cannot give you advice
You're
concerning
the
that matter.
creator.
But for sure, I am actually looking for people to work with me. I still like have a few spots left. So I'm actually really looking for someone, for like a person who does some strategic thinking with me as well. So if you're like interested like in joining a startup, you can join my startup. I don't know how I can connect, but maybe
We
if
will
under
leave
this
some
web.
link or the email
Yes.
address or website address on after the video.
Yes.
All
We
right.
can do it like that. So you can for sure contact me if you're like watching and you want to join me.
All right. So, Weronika, thank you so much for this inspiring conversation. And guys, if any of you dream of starting your own startup or join Weronika, just don't wait. Start taking the action today. And in the next part, we will talk about the BrainAce project itself and about more technicals and what it's about and what we can expect from it. So stay tuned. Once again, Weronika, thank you so much for joining me today.